Hello world, I'm Don West Jr. and I'm your well-being life coach and I'm a certified peer specialist. And I'm here today to talk to you about our well-being toolbox lesson number 2. And lesson number 2 is, what is your keystone? And basically, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 quarantine period right now. It's Easter Sunday actually, so happy Easter to you. And these are just tips for surviving during the stay-at-home period and physical social distancing 2020. I like to call it physical distancing because we're still able to be social with all of the technology that we have and maintaining safe distances. But anyway, what is your keystone? And the reason that I thought that was something that I wanted to bring to you today and why it was really important is I dropped a well-being thought earlier in a short video, and everything right now is about our habits. We've almost been in quarantine for 30 days, and there's a common notion that it takes about 30 days to build a habit. So right now, the time period that we're in, it's all about what are your habits, and are you getting better right now in this period of quarantine, or are you actually getting worse? And it's something that you can measure, something you can keep up with. But in measuring it and keeping up with, are you building good habits or bad habits? Are you getting better or worse? One of the most important things is, what is your keystone? And we're going to get into what that is all about. So the ancient trade of stonemasonry is one that demands precision and mastery of one's craft in order to achieve the acceptable finished product. In many ways, this is similar to the formula for success in our daily lives. The more we master our tools and apply them with precision to the circumstances that arise, the more acceptable we find our finished products. And so what we have here is a stone archway, which happens to be one of my favorite architectural elements. One, because of the beauty. This is not one of my photographs. But this is a great picture. But you can see the stone archway is beautiful, and all of these stones are supported and held together by the keystone. And the keystone, the stones are cut and fitted in such a way that they can be stacked to hold and support one another. In the design of this archway, there is one stone that is absolutely critical to the strength and integrity of the entire structure, and this special stone is called the keystone, the web-shaped piece at the crown of the arch, which locks all the other pieces in place. And the really important thing about this stone is that basically, if this stone is not in place, if this stone is not secure, if this stone is not right, if it's not cut right, if it's not set right, if it's not essentially perfect, all the other stones in this arch are going to lose their integrity. So without the keystone in place, the arch will not hold its shape. All the other stones will tumble and fall to the ground. And in our personal life journeys, we each have lots of stones that make up our personal archway, right? Each of these stones represents something in our lives. One stone may represent our income from our jobs or from our businesses. Another stone may be our intimate relationship. All the elements that make up our life represent one of our stones. However, each one of us has a keystone. The one thing that is critically essential to all other stones staying in place and performing their proper functions. Without that stone in place, everything falls apart. It's the most important thing, which is going to get us to like the 80-20 rule, which is going to be our next video. So if we look at a person who has recovered from an addiction as an example, that person's keystone would likely be their sobriety. As long as their sobriety is in place, all the other areas of their life are able to function. But if that sobriety is removed, just like the keystone, it will likely impact a number of the stones and perhaps cause the entire arch to crumble. It thus becomes of vital importance that someone with sobriety as their keystone acquire and master the tools necessary to maintain their sobriety in order to maintain all the other stones in their life. sobriety is not my personal keystone, so I thought I'd share with you my personal keystone. So my personal keystone is my health. That's the most important thing. And I look at that as kind of three separate aspects because it's a holistic health approach. The most important thing for me is my mental health. When my mental health is intact and my mental health is strong, all the other stones in my arch are well supported and function very well. And in order for my mental health to be strong, I also have to focus on my physical health and my spiritual health. And when I have that holistic approach, my health and well-being is my keystone. And when I'm locked in and focused on my keystone, building habits in this time, building on the habits that I had coming into this time, working to improve them in this time, that's what's important for me because that's my keystone. So what are the tools that I use to maintain my keystone? Number one, for me, is exercise. Every day I have to get some sort of exercise. It varies. My main thing is I like to do a 45 to 60 minute walk with some stretching. I have something I call the Daily Dozen that I picked up in the military. I've adapted it, pulled in a bunch of things that I got from Florida State, from our movement warm-up, and I do a whole lot of different things, and I'll do some videos in the future to share my whole daily movement routine. I use a meditation practice. A lot of breathing and meditation tools help me keep me centered and help keep that mental health and spiritual health, along with my physical health, all together and alive. And yoga, another physical form of prayer, another form of exercise, but another tool that really helps me stay centered and keep my arch fully supported, and therefore my life moving in the direction that I choose. Because it's all about having a purposeful and directed life that's full of action, because it's an action-based life. And that brings us to the most important thing, and the reason I'm making this video is not for me to tell you what my keystones are, but it's what is your keystone? And then once you figure out what your keystone is, I'd love for you to share that with me. Love the feedback. And then it's about how are you applying yourself in this time? And that's where the 80-20 rule comes in. So 100% of our time is essentially what the 80-20 rule is all about. And we should be spending 80% of our time on the most important 20% of the things that make up our arch. And that literally usually comes down to a list of like 2 or 3 things that are the most important things that represent everything else. Ultimately, your keystone is always going to be there. So the most important thing for me right now is my health. I focus on my health. As long as I have my health, all my other things will come into play and fall into line. So I have a whole lot of tools that I've built to maintain my health, my routine, and my regimen. How many tools have you mastered to help you support your keystone once you figured out what that is? And then, more importantly, once you know what your keystone is and the tools that are currently in your repertoire, another really wonderful thing is, do you know what you need from your partner, from your family, from your friends to assist you with maintaining your keystone so that you can keep proper boundaries and get the proper support, family support, peer support, to move forward so that you can support your keystone. So I'd love to hear your answers to those questions. Let me know. And the most important thing in all of this is we wear these bracelets, the peer support superheroes. Don't know if you can see it, but the number one message there, you're not alone. We're all in this together, but we're physically distanced, but we're not socially distanced. And that's really important. So you may be feeling isolated, reach out. We'll be there for you. We'll have a conversation, text, email, Zoom. Make sure you know you're not alone. That's just really important. That's what the Wellbeing Toolbox and Knock Out the Stigma is all about, making sure you're not alone. So thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you have a little bit better understanding and are able to share with us what your keystone is. Love to hear about what your keystone is. I'm Don West Jr. This is the Wellbeing Toolbox, lesson number 2. What's your keystone? Thanks for watching. As always, namaste.